And welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 7th April today, and in this video, we are going to solve some important questions which could be very much relevant for your preparation. But as usual, before we will start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative to you guys, so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. You know, I will try to be very much brief in it and very much straightforward in it. In this video, we are going to discuss three types of questions, and these questions would be taken from three different sources. So depending on it, the first set of questions which we are going to discuss here would be taken from the current affairs of today's newspaper. You know what we are going to do? We'll take up the important articles from the newspapers. We will try to break them down into the simplest language possible. And we had derived these questions from those particular articles so that it will give the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and how you can expect a possible prelims question from these particular articles. This is what we are going to do in the first phase of our discussion, and most of the questions which we are going to discuss here would revolve around this current affairs part only. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the second part. Here we will discuss questions from the static portion. Currently we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity, we are discussing the Parliament of India, and in Parliament of India, we are discussing Lok Sabha. So today we are going to discuss few concepts related to Lok Sabha and derive the possible prelims question from those particular concepts, so that it will give the exact idea how a question can be asked from these discrete topics which we often feel that these are not important for us and we ignore them. We don't read them carefully. So it will give the idea how a question can be asked from these topics, and it will prepare you well before the exam. After solving questions with respect to current affairs part and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion, where we will solve a question from the previous year question book. To me, this is one of the most important part, because in here we actually learn what is the vocabulary used by UPSC over the years, what are the different trends they try to use for framing your papers, and how they try to repeat the questions in different language. We'll also try to understand that, and at the same time we will try to understand what are the different techniques which we can implement in the exam on those questions which we don't have the proper knowledge of, but still we can solve them. What are those techniques? We will try to understand that, and at the same time we will try to understand how we can implement this information in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to discuss in this video. Now, before we'll start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. Now with this, let's have a look at the first question which we had brought today. Well, here as you can see on the screen, the question is basically about the defamation. The question here is on the defamation. So what is the context to this question? Before we'll go to the context to the question, first we will solve the question here. First we will establish the answer of this question. After that we'll go to the context and discuss what was in the news today. We'll discuss that part. So let's solve the question first. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the law of defamation in India. First statement: defamation is solely treated as criminal offense under the Indian Penal Code. This is totally incorrect, because defamation, it can be both civil as well as criminal. So it is not solely criminal offense. And also with respect to this, I would like to add here that it was, in this Supreme Court, this petition was taken that this defamation, it should be made only criminal, as is followed in the UK, where from we took it. But Supreme Court did not agree to it. They said that it is up to the Parliament. If they will want it to be criminal only, they will want it to be civil only, then Supreme Court will not have any problem in accepting that. But right here they cannot invoke Article 144-42, in which they will make it civil only. So in a way, Supreme Court said we are just mute spectators with respect to that. We will see what the Parliament will do. If they are agreeing to it, if they will make it only civil, we don't have any problem with that. We are not going to interfere in the executive matters. So this was this is what the Supreme Court said with respect to this. So please remember that it can be criminal as well as the civil offense. So first statement is incorrect. Now coming to the second statement, it says truth is an absolute defense against a charge of defamation. No, this is totally incorrect. Truth, even though truth is always good, but it is not an absolute defense against the charge of defamation. You cannot say anybody that there are various issues. Often you would have heard your friends saying that I am very much straightforward, that's why I say everything on the face. But that is that is not good. That is not always good, because that is called rude in our language. That person is rude if you start saying everything on the faces. If you would start insulting anybody because he is having some issue, because that may be true, but that truth, telling that truth is not always good. So truth cannot be the absolute defense against the charge of defamation. This is also incorrect. Third statement, it says the Constitution of India protects the right to freedom of speech and expression, which has no limitation in the context of defamation. This is totally incorrect. Sorry, I had here in the option it should have been none of the above. I had not mentioned it. So this third statement is also incorrect, because we have Article 19, in which we have the right of freedom and right to freedom of speech and expression. But that right is not absolute. There are restrictions to those rights, and defamation is one of the restriction to it. So with respect to this statement is incorrect, and with respect to this question, the correct answer would be option D, which is none of the above. So please remember that, none of the above. Now let's come to the actual context of this question. Let's come to the main discussion why we have discussed this question. Basically there is a case between Wikipedia and the news wire agency. You would have heard about ANI. Long time back, not that long, but few years back, Wikipedia, it is an open source and anybody can edit it. In Wikipedia there was a page which highlighted that the ANI is the in a way agency of what? ANI is in a way agency of the government. It is it is supported by the government, and whatever it says, it is in a way there to defend the government. So there were allegations against ANI. So this did not went good with the ANI, and they felt that it is the case of defamation, and they went to the Delhi High Court. Where they dragged Wikipedia there. But what Wikipedia said there, that sir, it is not we are uploading anything, it is the users which are using it, they are uploading. And we have in the Indian constitution, in the Indian legislature, or we can say in the Indian laws, we enjoy the safe harbor, that whatever is uploaded on our platforms, we are just intermediaries, and the user is the responsible, not us. So there should be the safe harbor for them. But Delhi High Court did not agree with them. What Delhi High Court said to them, that first of all, what you should do, you should first of all remove this page, and second, you should reveal the identity of the users who are using these things, who are uploading these things. And this is not that good. It is in a way interfering into the privacy of the people what they are doing. So it is against the right. Article 21, where privacy is respected, where in 2017 Supreme Court judgment, that privacy was given the fundamental right status. So it is against that. So, and also during this case was going on, there was another page was created on the Wikipedia, which in a way highlighted the situation what is happening with respect to Wikipedia and ANI. And Delhi High Court again did not like that, and it asked the Wikipedia to remove that page. So here the Supreme Court interfered and said, and in a way taunted Delhi High Court, that why are you so much getting irritated whatever they are doing. So here still the case is going on. We will see what will happen with respect to this case. This is the context of the question which you need to know if you had not read the newspaper. So this is what was in the news with respect to this question, and this is how we came up with this question here. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is with respect to the business advisory committee. The question is with respect to the business advisory committee. Usually in the Indian Parliament, what used to happen, whenever we know one structure of our Parliament, as it is the part of our democracy, that there is first, very simple. This is very basics. There would be the ruling party. There would be ruling party, and there would be the opposition. Opposition. Here, what is the role of the opposition? To have a check on the ruling party, and the final say would be of the opposition, would be of the ruling party. If ever they want to bring in any bill, if they ever want to bring in any law, there would be proper discussion with respect to that. There would be questions asked with respect to that. Where people from the opposition, they will ask the questions, they will highlight the issues with respect to that, and there would be proper discussion with respect to that. So with this, there comes the business advisory committee. What is its role? It assigns the time period for the people to ask the question. It will assign the time period, and we have business advisory committees both in the Lok Sabha and also in the Rajya Sabha. So with respect to this, if we had seen recent trend from post 2014, if we are seeing the recent post 2014, if we are seeing the recent trends with respect to how the bills are passing in the Lok Sabha, how the bills are passing in the Parliament, there has been least interaction, there has been least discussion with respect to that, and this is one of the complaints which the opposition parties are highlighting here, that they are not given enough time to discuss, to raise the questions. So with respect to this, the business advisory committee becomes the center of contention here, and we need you as an UPSC aspirants, and it being in the news, it becomes important for you that any question can be asked with respect to this. So with this, let's try to solve the question and get to know about it. So let's see what is the question here. The question says, with reference to the Indian Parliament, consider the following statements regarding the Business Advisory Committee. First statement: it is chaired by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha in the case of both houses of the Parliament. No, when it is the Business Advisory Committee of the Lok Sabha, then it would be chaired by the Speaker, and when it is of the Rajya Sabha, it would be chaired by the chairman, or we can say vice president. So first statement becomes incorrect. Second statement, it says the committee recommends the time allocation for the discussion of government, legislative and other businesses in the House. 100% correct. It recommends the time allocation for the discussion of government, legislative and other business in the House. And with respect to the discussion on the bills, it recommends it. And if there is any other business, it has to take the permission of the leader of the House, which would be eventually right now the Prime Minister. Third statement, the recommendation of the Business Advisory Committee are binding on the House. No, it is not so. So with respect to this question, the correct answer would be option 2 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question, why we discuss it, what are the various allegations with respect to how bills are passing in the Parliament. That is why we are discussing this question here. With this, let's move to the here I would like to add that how many members are there in the Business Advisory Committee? It is 15. In Lok Sabha, it is chaired by, we can say, the Speaker, and in Rajya Sabha, it is by the chairman, or we can say vice president. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is with respect to Jal Jeevan Mission. If you would have read today's newspaper, there was no proper article about the Jal Jeevan Mission or how it has been successful. There was no that discussion. What are the issues with it? No that discussion. There were no specific discussion to Jal Jeevan Mission. But why we are taking this question? Because there, as it is 7th April today, it is 7th April today, and it is World Health Day today. Over the world, it is enjoyed as the World Health Day. And with respect to this, the article talked about various, how the government of India has brought in health and sanitation, and how it is in a way impacting the livelihood of the people in our country. How these schemes, and the article basically discussed about 2 schemes. One was Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission was discussed, and the Jal Jeevan Mission was discussed. In that, how they had been successful, how with respect to Swachh Bharat Mission, how the main role was the sanitation of our country. With respect to that was with respect to the rural India, how our country became in 2019, how we achieved the status of being the open defecation free country. So how it has been successful, and with respect to the various reports from the WHO, UNICEF, and other NGOs, it has been found that how it has reduced the deaths in India after implementing these schemes, and also how it has impacted the woman, how they had felt safe as recommended by the UNICEF, as reported by the UNICEF, that 93% of the women feel safe after these toilets were made available to them, and also 3 lakh deaths were decreased, or we can say reduced. Usually there were minus 3 lakh deaths due to diarrhea. Understand that that had been reduced, and also other things were also highlighted. And with respect to the Jal Jeevan Mission, it has also highlighted that how it has impacted the woman, how it has in a way empowered woman, how because of this scheme, they were the tap water which was available to them at their doorsteps. They would not have to go for the long distances to carry the water for their home. Usually in our country, this burden is on women in the rural areas. So this time was saved for them, and this had led them to manage this time, to use this time in some other productive work. So this article highlighted the achievements, you can say, the government schemes which the government had brought in, and how India is seeing the health and sanitation, and what India's approach is with respect to this. So with this, I hope you had understood the context part. Now let's solve the question here. Question says, consider the following statements regarding the Jal Jeevan Mission. First statement, the aim it aims to provide safe and adequate drinking water through the individual household tap connections to all rural households by 2024. Yes, indeed, its aim was this, but did it successfully implement it? No, its implementation was not 100% successful. Its implementation success was only something around 80%. So in a rural households, something around 80%. So in a way, it has been very much a game changing for the woman in the rural households. So first statement is correct. Second statement, it says the mission follows a community driven approach, emphasizing the role of the gram panchayats and local communities in planning, implementation, management, and operation of water supply system. 100% correct. This is also correct. Third statement, the funding for Jal Jeevan Mission is entirely provided by the central government of India. No, it is funded by both central and state governments. So third statement would be incorrect. With respect to this question, the correct answer would be option 1 and 2 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought. Well, here the question is with respect to the National Family Health Survey in India. Also, as it is the World Health Day celebrated 7th April. So with this, there were many articles in the newspaper which in a way discussed the health and sanitation in our country. So with this, it also discussed the gap, in a way, the gap in the rural India and in the gap in the rural India and the urban India. If we look at our country, in the rural India, approximately 70% of our population resides in the rural India. But if we will see if we will see the healthcare infrastructure there, it is very minimal to the population which are residing there. So definitely there are various issues with this. And also, if we will see the educational gap, there are various challenges with respect to the educational gap, the persistent infectious diseases, if we will see the non-communicable diseases which are growing on, and if we will see the impact of them, approximately 60% of the deaths in our country are due to non-communicable diseases. For example, cancer, we can say diabetes, and it is because of our daily routines, how we are living our lives, our daily habits, what we are doing in our days. We are not exercising that much, and it is very much seen, its impact is seen, it is being increasing in the rural India also. And also with respect to this, if we will see the air pollution, how its impact has been. And with this regard, there was mention of the National Family Health Survey, as it has highlighted that 35% of the children under 5 are stunned in the rural India, and in the India overall, and 57% of women aged between 15 and 49 are anemic. So definitely there is this gap if we will compare this rural India and the urban India. So this needs to be highlighted. This needs to be worked on. National Family Health Survey 5, the fifth round, provided data for key indicators such as fertility rate, child mortality, nutrition status, and the national and state levels for the period between 2019 and 21. 100% correct. Third statement. The findings of the NFHS are primarily used for monitoring progress towards sustainable development goals related to health and well-being in India. That is 100% true. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be statements 2 and 3, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood this question as well, and with this we had completed our today's discussion with respect to the questions from the current affairs part. Now let's move to the other part of our discussion where we'll discuss a question from the static portion. As I told you, currently we are discussing the Indian Parliament, and in Parliament we are discussing Lok Sabha, and in Lok Sabha we are discussing the Speaker. So today's discussion would revolve around the regulatory powers of the Speaker. So through this question we will understand that. Here the question says, regarding the regulatory powers of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statement. First statement: the Speaker has the power to disqualify a member of the Lok Sabha under the 10th schedule anti-defection law. 100% correct. We had discussed this in our previous classes. We discussed what are issues with that. We discussed that, the delays they are taking, the bias from the Speaker, and what they how the Supreme Court can intervene in this matter. And we also discussed that the decision of the Speaker does have the judicial review behind this. It can go to the courts also. So please do remember that. So first statement here is correct. Second statement: the Speaker's decision in all matters related to conduct of business in the House is subjected to judicial review. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with the statement. Third statement: the Speaker can allow no confidence motion against the government only with the consent of the leader of the House. No, totally incorrect. He can allow the no confidence motion, and that we will discuss when we will take up the no confidence motion. There would be backing from the people who will, there would be backing from the members of the Parliament who would install this, who would start this motion. We will discuss that when we will take it up. So with respect to this question, the correct statements would be statement 1 and 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood this question as well. Now let's move to the last part of our discussion where we'll solve a previous year question. As you know, currently we are discussing the world geography questions which were asked in world geography from last few years, and this question was asked in 2019, I guess. And see what the question says: which of the following have shrunk immensely up in the recent past due to human activities? Which of the following seas had shrunk, or we can say these seas are which Aral Sea, which is actually a lake, had shrunk immensely up in the recent past due to human activities? It is basically the Aral Sea. It would be the correct answer to this question. So with this, I hope you had understood today's discussion. I hope you would like the video, and I definitely hope you would share the video with your friends. Please do subscribe and let us know what do you feel about this initiative. With this, I would like to thank you guys. Thank you very much for staying with me. Thank you very much for watching our video, and have a best and good luck.